Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming here. We are here live for week 3 of our top 5 scariest videos for Halloween. I am your host, Kevin Dagger, and with me, I have to my right the social media, radio, TV, movies, OnlyFans, you name it, he's on it. El George, what's going on, bro?
Oh, great. Thank you very much for that introduction. I'm very happy to be here with my bros. I was doing this because I was remember Jason the Terrible here in Puerto Rico. No, Said 50 Strong.
Oh, so this
50
is
Strong.
strong.
Like he would do this shit. I remember it was scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. That motherfucker was scary, like for real scary. Uh, Nah, man, I'm really happy to be here. I'm ready to go. I really had a lot of fun putting this list together, and I was actually creeped out by remembering some of this. This is gonna be a good one.
Yep. All right. So this week we're going to be talking about our top 5 urban legends, things that might be true, stories of the past. Some are newer, some are older, but they're always good to listen. And to my bottom, carrying us up here on his shoulders, El Moncho, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? I hope everyone have a wonderful weekend. This weekend was exciting, actually, but a lot of good movies. Along with me is this guy that is gonna be soon at the theaters. But let's have some fun. Urban legends. How a
Urban
good
legend.
way to how a good way to like yours says, get scared one more time. Hey, let's hit it.
Yeah, so some of these urban legends have been turned into movies. That's why it kind of ties into what we've been doing. But it's spooky season. It's Halloween season. This is what we like to do.
Yeah,
We like to get scared. We like to Moncho and myself. We've actually gone hunting for a couple of these things. We've gone looking for them in the past. We've got
Oh yeah.
stories. We've all got stories. So let's see who wants to begin. You know what, Moncho, you weren't here last week, so you get to
There you
start
go.
this week. You get to start this week. What is your number 5 urban legend?
Well, my number 5 urban legend was an urban legend that was actually circulating around Puerto Rico, actually for a couple of years, and recently it had revived thanks to a lot of movies like It, and the urban legend is the fucking clowns. And I used to be really scared about this because when we were growing up, they say, "Oh, beware of that Y band." I don't know why they always match it up with the Y band and the band full of clowns because I think it got to be something about this guy that was Casey. This guy that it was a serial killer that it was caught in some sort of he was attracting kids dressed as a clown, and I think it started way before that in Puerto Rico, but it always our grandmas and our moms always tell, hey, beware of the clowns. Yeah, there you go. Beware of the scary clowns because they're gonna get you. And whenever you go to a party and or you see a scary clown, and also I know a couple of guys all grown ups that if you mention a clown, they're gonna be like all scared and stuff. But yes, that's my urban legend. Where I lived in Ponce and also in Guayama, Puerto Rico, that one was a real big one for everyone. So yes, and I think it's still going on through this day. The scary clown is around. So it's gonna get you.
You
dude,
know what?
you unlock a memory from the past because I remember that I was scared of that. I think it was like in fifth grade, fifth
Yeah.
or fifth grade when that was really high. Like that they were talking about the clowns in the bands that they will snatch you up. And then I
Hmm.
remember one day they actually brought clowns to the school, and I remember I saw them because they came in a band or something like that. And a huge, and I remember I ran to the back of the school to cry, like I was crying in the back of the
Yeah.
school when the clowns were here, and no one was doing anything about it. Like they came
Right.
here and no one is doing anything. I was scared out of a shit. Fucking urban legends.
I mean, I've never been afraid of clowns. That's one.
Man.
I've never been afraid of clowns. They are freaky though. But I think it's just because of the face paint. You don't know who's under it. But there is a phobia. It's called Coulrophobia, a specific disorder where individuals experience intense anxiety, panic, and physical symptoms like nausea, sweating, and rapid heartbeat when confronted with clowns.
Wow.
Look at that. Oh shit.
But when you're a kid, it's like, the clown's gonna get you. Now, the thing is, I've always heard about the white van. Be careful with the white
Yes.
van, because they're gonna open the door and they're gonna
Yes.
grab you and they're gonna pull you in. But
Right.
as far as like the clowns, I think I missed it. That
Yeah.
phobia with that whole urban legend. But the white van, I've always heard about the white van. So
You want
Moncho's
some candy, kid?
you want
Yeah.
some candy?
Want to see a puppy?
Hello, Georgie.
I got some candy. All right. So number 5 is clowns. George, what's your number 5?
This is a story that really freaked me out when I was growing up, and I honestly don't remember where I heard it first. Like, I don't know if that's something I read. Probably I read it, and it's the licked hand. The licked hand.
I have never heard of this.
Mm.
Tell me
heard
about
the
the.
licked
I've
hand?
never heard of the licked hand. I've heard of a lot of things. I've heard a lot of body parts get licked. Never a licked hand. Talk to me about the licked hand.
The licked hand is an old urban legend. I think it's the licked hand is not. I think the reason I believe I'm pretty sure I heard of it by reading it, because it's mostly a European urban legend. But I remember reading the first time, I was fucking freaked out about it. And I think it's a little bit close to the whole, there's a color in the house, the color is inside the house, a little bit like that. It's a little bit like that. The link, again, and because this is an urban legend, there's different versions of it. But the version I most remember is the one that there was some serial killing going on in this town, and this little girl was scared. Like, she kept hearing the news about the serial killings. So her parents got her a dog, right? So her parents got her a dog, and whenever the dog slept with her in under her bed, and whenever she got nervous, she put her hand out, and the dog would lick her hand. So she knew she was okay because her dog was there. So one night she started hearing sounds in the house, like strange sounds, and she got scared. She wouldn't come out of her room. So she put her hand and she felt the dog licking her, right? She felt her hand getting licked. And then after a while, she started calling her parents, but no one answered. And she had to go find out. And she found her parents and the dog like killed. They were killed, chopped up. And then when she came back to her room, there was a note, a paper with a note saying, humans can lick too. That's the urban legend of that. So I don't know. Maybe some urban legends have a little bit of truth in there. I don't know. Maybe it's just a story that someone came up with. Either way, it's fucking scary as shit.
You see, you know that's not a Puerto Rican urban legend, because if it would have been, it would have been like, you lick this. You want to lick something like this? Lambamente. That one wouldn't work in Puerto Rico. We're just that sick. We've been like, oh. Humans can lick. All right, so the lick hand. Number 5. All right, my number 5 is a local urban legend. I live here in San Antonio, and my number 5 are the ghost tracks here in San Antonio. All right, so this is an urban legend where apparently there were some train tracks near, I think it says here, Shane Road. And apparently there was a school bus that was going to go over the tracks, and it got stuck on the tracks, and it got hit by a train, right? It gets hit by the train, and all the kids on the school bus die. So the urban legend is, if you go to those tracks at night and you put your car on the train tracks and you put it in neutral, the car will begin to move on its own. The urban legend is that the ghosts of those children are pushing the car out of the way.
Fuck that shit. I'm not gonna go.
Okay,
people do that shit, man.
Well, you know what I'm saying. You know how it is. People do that. Okay, so the way they know that it's ghost children is because people would put baby powder on the trunk, and after you would pass, you would see the prints of the kiddos, the ghost hands prints on the trunk of the car. Now, that is the legend, right? Apparently, the reality is that the movement of the car is an optical illusion, not a supernatural event. The road surface appears to be flat, but it is actually sloped downhills towards the track. So you think you're flat, but you're really going downhill. So apparently it's an optical illusion, right? So it's gravity pushing the car. And when people say, "Oh, but what about the handprints?" Apparently the handprints are of the people closing their trunks when they close the trunks, and when you put the baby powder, when it starts to move, it blows away, and the handprints are just the the
Remains.
remains of their hands. But actually, when you go look for a record, there is no public record of a school bus getting hit by a train. There's one in Virginia and in Utah. I believe that was in 1961. But in San Antonio, Texas, there is no public record of a school bus being hit by a train. I've lived here for 15 years already. I've never been to the ghost tracks. I want to go. I just want to see it, even though they say it's bullshit and it's not true. It's just an urban legend. However, you never know. But apparently it's been debunked. But that is a legend where people to this day still go. From what I've heard, there's always a police car there, making sure nobody stops their car in the middle of the cracks to see if the ghost kids push them out, because there's been other accidents or close accidents. But yeah, that's my number 5. That's my number 5 because it's very famous here in San Antonio. It's very, very famous. So my number 5 are the ghost children or the ghost tracks here in San Antonio, Texas. Guys, if you like what you're seeing, please give it a like so that we can keep making these videos. Moncho, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is actually a legendary creature that first was reported in Puerto Rico back in 1995, and it's the legend of El Chupacabra.
Oh!
First reported in 1995, and the whole thing started because of one farmer that has a couple of sightings, and I remember they reporting the red eyes. So that started all, and also some cows that were found with 2 holes, pretty precise holes right here on the neck of not only cows but also what we call cabras and goats. Thank you. And that's why it's called the chupacabra. Not to mention that it was also reported after that in Mexico, and the legend goes on and on. And actually, there's a couple of people, including a mayor in Puerto Rico, that started a massive hunt of El Chupacabra, and that legend lives in Puerto Rico.
Chemo Soto.
Chemo Soto, yes.
Is he still alive? Did he pass away?
I don't know.
I think he passed away.
Yeah, I know he was he would go on the hunts. He would go with he would be dressed up as soldiers. They go in the mountains with a cage,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't think that's gonna work.
You're not gonna get that. No.
So yeah, he did pass away. I remember that, man. That was a crazy time back in Puerto Rico. But it's all right, Moncho. It's never boring. One way or another, we either have chupacabras or bad bunnies. Don't matter. It's always something going on back home. Moncho, I'm going to ask you first. Do you think this urban legend is at least possible?
Which one? The chupacabra?
No, Chemo Soto. Yeah, el chupacabra.
Yeah. Well, first, Chemo Soto is already a legend, man. But el chupacabra, yes. I think possibly it could be another kind of creature, but not that, how they say it, the creature that they want to say it is, like this extraterrestrial being, not that kind, but probably some kind of creatures. It could be, they mentioned before that it could be coyotes or some other creature that have, in English it's called mag. I think it's in Spanish is rabia. some kind of sickness that it
Yeah,
calls
mange, where they lose their hair,
mange,
they lose their hair
right?
and everything.
And they start with bubbling uh, um,
Pangs?
through the mouth.
Foam, they
Yes,
foam through the mouth. They foam.
if we foam through the mouth, and they got so aggressive. But I think it's possible, but not at that point. Uh, it kind of made me think that it was a little bit made up because those two dots in the neck. I don't know about that. That was. I remember I still was like a teenager, and when I saw that, I said like, maybe that's not what we think it is. That kind of looks like made up, but yeah, I think it's some other creature that it was with rabies or some sickness, and they thought it was like this inhuman creature, and they give life to that kind of legend. But answering your question, no,
No.
maybe no, not that that kind of creature that they want to made us seem like it is. No,
Okay, ya la gata de George hizo el cambio.
Ya la
Ya
vi.
pasó por ahí.
right. I said
All right, so Chupacabra number 4. George, what's your number 4?
My number 4, again, this is not something from Puerto Rico, but this is something I used to scare the shit out of me when I was a kid. Like, I used to think that maybe this is real or something. Because it sounds plausible and there's some evidence of it. But I'm talking about the sewer gators. Like, there's sewers on there's gators, alligators in the sewers of New York. And
oh.
yeah, that's an old one. That's one that I remember from my childhood, and that's all. I don't know why, but it scares the shit out of me. Like, you go to the bathroom, you're sitting there, and there's something, an alligator, like, got you now. It was silly.
Gotcha, bitch.
Gotcha, bitch.
I mean, it's a kind of silly fear that you have when you're a kid. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you be afraid of that? You're sitting in your toilet in Puerto Rico when that's happening in the United States, in New York. But you know how kids, fear is irrational. But I remember thinking a lot about this. I don't know, maybe because it was related to the Ninja Turtles, like, I don't know. But I remember being a lot scared of the alligator sewers, and I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons that I didn't want to go to New York when I was a kid. Like, no, there are gators in the sewer; they can come out. I don't know. It sounds so weird, but apparently, I was doing a little bit of research, and there's actually, there's some cases of sewers, alligators in the sewer, but small ones, like not the big ones that you were told when you were a kid. The huge one. So yeah, that's my number 4.
I'm pretty sure in Florida there's got to be something.
Oh yeah.
In Florida,
Definitely.
and in Puerto Rico now, I don't know. They're finding,
I'm not. Yeah, we have now the caiman. I don't know how do you say caiman.
the crocodiles.
Crocodiles.
And apparently, there's a lot now. So I wouldn't be surprised that we're gonna get our own urban legends with gators on the sewers.
No, now you have the pythons over there, and
motherfucker, man, yeah.
So I'm like, what happened when you will not catch me in a river in Puerto Rico. I'm sorry, I will be at the beach all day, every day, but you won't see me in any rivers back home in Puerto Rico when I go visit. Ni pa'l carajo. I'm sorry,
I never liked rivers really. I'm more of a beach or a pool.
Yeah, forget that shit. Not now. So alligators in the sewers in New York. Apparently, that aside from the movie, because I remember that movie that came out when I was a kid, and it was this giant alligator. Made no sense, but it was scary. It was scary. But yeah, that is George's number 4. Okay, my number 4, I think, is the OG urban legend, myth, crypto, whatever you want to call it.
Oh,
the Jetty.
It's Bigfoot,
classic.
the Yeti, the whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to be honest with you. Out of every crypto animal, every legend, out of all of them, this is the one I think has a chance to somewhat happen. I don't know why. This is the one I'm like, If there's one that I want to be true, let it be Bigfoot. Let it be Bigfoot because it's so cool. It's just I've always liked Bigfoot. I never saw Bigfoot scary. I never thought he was scary. Now, if you go on YouTube and you hear eyewitness reports of them going into campsites and going into the RV and grabbing them crazy, yeah, those are scary. But it's just I just think if one were to be true, I would love for it to be Bigfoot. I would love for it to be Bigfoot. There was a guy here. He claimed to be a Bigfoot hunter. He lives in San Antonio, of course. He said he caught a Bigfoot with Walmart steaks. He
What?
he went to Walmart, he bought steaks, and he nailed them to a tree, and he just waited, and he was able to catch a Bigfoot. And I'm like, shut up. Come on, don't be so. There's so many people with so much bullshit. For some reason, I always remember that because he was a local guy. And he made the news and everything and said, "Oh, I'm going to show everybody the body." It was a suit. It was a very bad suit. Filled up with like animal parts and shit. But I'm like, oh my God. But I would love, I don't want to say I saw Bigfoot. I saw something one night when I was driving to a wrestling show. I was going to go wrestle. And I wasn't alone in the car, but I was driving. And we saw, it wasn't a bear because bears don't run like people. It was this big thing that just went whoom across the road. There were no other cars coming or going. And it was real dark. It was this stretch of road in Texas where we were going to Divine, Texas. And people say that in Divine, Texas, there are a lot of Bigfoot sightings. And we just saw something run across the road. It wasn't a dog. It wasn't a bear. And it ran like on two legs. And it was big. And it was like, so I was like, unless that was Shaq that ran across the road, that had to be a Bigfoot. And we all three of us saw it because we were all looking like, I was telling them, don't let me fall asleep. Everybody be, so because it was so dark and boring. And it was like 11:30, 12 o'clock that I didn't want to fall asleep. So we're all looking at the road and we saw it. We didn't hit it. We stopped. Look how stupid I am. I stopped the car. So I stopped the car. And we're like, I said, did you see that? He goes, yeah, I saw it. Let's go. We left. So out of all of the ledges and everything, I really want this one to be true. George, I know you're very skeptical. What do you think of the chances of this one somewhat being?
I don't know, man. Well, we do know that there's a lot of people. How do you say? United States is a big place, and while we technically have charted all, we don't really know what's in every place, and so I don't think Bigfoot as the legend might exist, but I do believe that we might have some people that we haven't met yet. I don't know. So I don't think it's probable, but it's plausible.
Moncho, what do you think?
I think, and I concur with you. It could be something that we haven't discovered yet, and if you start looking for it, it's been so many sightings or possible sightings of it throughout the years, and I remember that since I have a notion of conscience that Sasquatch, Bigfoot exist. That I don't know, and I would like to also to know if it's exists or not, because it's something that it gets you with the the imagination of a child, but also a curiosity of an adult. Like if it's possible that there's creatures that lives deep down in the forest and we don't know, or hiding in the mountains and they are hiding from us, and did they really exist? I don't know. It is a possibility for me, actually.
I really do hope so. So, guys, let us know in the comments if you think out of all of these urban legends, do you think Bigfoot could be the one that actually might be real? Let us know. All right, Moncho, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is the really, really famous toy And I smile when it says toy because it's actually a toy. It's the Ouija board, the famous Ouija board.
The
And
Ouija board. There it is.
if you don't know what a Ouija board is at this point, it's a board that has the alphabet with the numbers from 0 to 9. The word there you go. The word yes, no on top, and goodbye on the bottom. And it actually is proposedly is for contacting spirits, and it helps you with the heart shape. I don't know what does it like a pointer. Supposedly, you put the fingertips on it, and you can channel your energy throughout, so you can communicate with spirits. Uh, but I have one funny thing to mention about that.
Uh-huh.
My mom used to have one Ouija board. Something happened uh, because it was always something that they don't allow us as kids to play with, but she uses it. So something happened that she said, "Oh no, oh shit, no, wait a minute, no, They
Yep.
put the Ouija
Time out.
board.
Time out. Pausa. Pause it.
Yeah.
I knew your mom.
Mm-hmm.
She used to play with the Ouija board.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. In the
Holy
younger
shit.
years. In the
Oh,
younger years. Yeah. But something happened that she said, no more. Pop. And she closed it and she threw it away in the trash. You know, in Puerto Rico, they have certain days that the trash come, that the trash truck comes, pick the trash, go away. The damn Ouija board, every time they throw it out, it comes back. I
how?
don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But it always set up in the same place. You know, those big holes in those houses in Jardines?
Yeah.
They have one closet near to the bathroom. It was always there. Always. At the one point that we use it to make a fire, and that's it. But they tried to trash it 2 times, and the 2 times the board appeared right there with
Mm,
everything. And
mm,
no.
mm, uh-uh. Uh-uh.
Nah, you need to
And
speak
that's
to
an
your sister. You
experience.
need to speak to Nell. That sounds like a prank that we're playing on your mom. Maybe your dad or maybe your sister.
Your dad, I believe
Mm.
maybe your dad will be like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I never knew. Yeah, and I was close to my dad. I never knew about it.
Look,
But another experience.
Zael says you have to close the session.
Yes, that thank you, Sael. That's something that it was need to be done, and I think it was possibly not done. But I have another experience where a little bit more older, we were playing with the Ouija board in another house nearby, and one funny guy asked, "Okay, from our group, who's gonna die first?" I remember that his name was Gelito, starting with G, and the pointer said G, then you, then I, and we was going to the L. He said, "Ah, no, that's bullshit," and he threw the board away. And you know what? He actually died first of all the group that was there. He was the first one to die. It was
Okay.
a car accident.
Well,
So,
it's not like that hard.
so yeah, the Ouija board.
I I have a story, but I was a kid. I was about 8, maybe 7, 8, and
Hmm.
I was in my aunt's house, right? So my cousins, they were all 10, 11, 12. They got a Ouija board, right? So they started messing with it. I didn't play with it because I was afraid of it. I was there, but I didn't want to play with it, you know. So I remember they asked the spirit's name. What is your name? And it was, and I still remember. I don't even know if I should say it, but I still remember the name. And when they asked if he was in heaven or in hell, it went H E,
Oh shit!
and when it was going to the L, they stopped. And then that night, when I stayed over, we heard like sounds, and I'm thinking those are my cousins messing around. And they asked me, "Hey, did you sleep okay?" And I'm like, "No." So they were hearing it too.
No.
So I remember when we tried to get rid of it, uh, they didn't want to throw it out in the garbage of the house. They wanted to throw it out far away. So they put it in my uncle's trunk, and then we had asked them to take us to the mall. So we were just going to throw it away over there in the mall.
Hmm.
As we're driving, the trunk went boom as the car was driving.
No fucking way.
Yup. Yup.
Holy shit.
And then this was in 1987, 88, right? And then back then, you remember the boom boxes where you would press play and record and you can talk and you would talk into the little tapes?
Yeah.
Well, we would make tapes and, like today you can do a text message, but we would just record ourselves talking because that was in New York to send the tapes to our cousins in Puerto Rico so that they can listen to us messing around and then they would send us another tape, right? As when we sent the tape over there, they call us, say, "Hey, that tape, who was in that room?" And it was like, well, it was Fulana, Fulana, and Hector. And he says, "Who was that? Well, was there a dog in the room?" And they're like, "No, there was no dog in the room." So they said that they heard growling on the tape.
Oh.
And then when we recorded that at the beginning of July. At the end of July, my grandfather passes away, so we have to go to Puerto Rico for the funeral. When we listened to the tape, you could hear a dog in the room growling. There was an animal in the room and the tape growling. There was no animal in the room. There was no dog, no nothing.
Shit.
I didn't touch that shit again.
I haven't. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just telling you what happened. Right? George, do you have any stories?
Nah, man, never played it. Never really had the chance. Not really.
All right. So if you guys
but I do remember. I don't know why. I just remember something I read the other day that even if you're an atheist or you don't believe, there are some things in South Asia that they don't give a shit if you believe in them or not. So I don't know why. I don't know. I just remember that. Like the supernatural in Asia, in Southeast Asia, doesn't give a shit if you're an atheist.
Yeah, they say fuck you.
Yeah, they don't give a they don't give a damn. All right. So Moncho's number 3 is the Ouija board. George, you're number 3.
My number 3, motherfucker Moncho already said it. You stole it. You stole it from me, but we can go ahead and say it. It's the chupacabra. Also, but I wanted to add to that a little bit because I remember, and you guys probably remember this, that at first it was called the Mocha vampire, the vampire from Mocha.
El vampiro de
Mocha.
Mocha. And then some people said that it's a gargoyle, like people were talking about a gargoyle. Now, this is a funny tidbit about the legend of the chupacabra, which is the one that I'm talking about. And it's that if you ever heard about the chupacabra, if you're listening to this, you're watching this video, either it's right now or in the future, whatever, you got to know that chupacabra comes from Puerto Rico, but especially the name. The name was he was named the chupacabra by a local comedian or writer, Tilberio Perez. He was talking about he had a humoristic satire show. I don't remember which one. He had several through the years. He was the first person to call it El Chupacabra, goat sucker, and it was a joke. He said it as a joke, but that joke, today we still talk about
became
Huh?
It became the whole name of the creature.
And the chupacabra just became, and I'm pretty sure that people that doesn't speak Spanish, that doesn't sound funny, right?
Anda pa'l cara era show. It was the show. Anda pa'l cara was the show.
Yeah, Anda pa'l cara. Probably that was probably it. Anda pa'l cara, and he started calling the chupacabra, and that just people ran with it. But in Spanish, it's a funny word, because it's 2 words: chupa, which sucks, and cabra, goats, and it sounds
Goat.
so absurd. It sounds so funny and absurd, and it's such a joke. And yeah, that's something that's been going a long time in Puerto Rico. Now, why do I believe? Do I believe? No, I don't think. I'm pretty sure that started as a hoax. I think I don't know. Maybe some kids were fucking around with the animals. Maybe the farmer couldn't, was having some problem. I don't know. I don't think it's a real. I think it's a start as a hoax. It just kept rolling. But however, in Puerto Rico, we do have a lot of santeria. So I wouldn't be surprised if it has something to do with that. Like some people, they do a lot of animal sacrifice and they use a lot of animal blood for their ritual. It's a religion like any other. And so I it wouldn't surprise me they had something to do with that, and they just use the chupacabra as a way of covering it up or something. I don't know, but yeah, chupacabra from Puerto Rico, name and born and name in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I mean, chupacabra.
Not only Bad Bunny, it's also the chupacabra.
Chupacabra is such a phenomenon. It's transcended, and now every Spanish-speaking country has a chupacabra because it expanded.
Right.
So it's I love the chupacabra. Hey, Bigfoot and the chupacabra should be true. But I love the chupacabra. That was such a phenomenon, and like we said before, Chemo Soto, that was a big thing. But the chupacabra here, it's a dog. It's a dog with mange. It's a coyote with mange.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, it could. Yeah.
It's not mythical. Back home, it was mythical with the eyes and the little. He would run like that.
Right.
People said he flew. Some people said he jumped, and it's
right.
I don't know. I think it's cool. So a chupacabra is George's number 3. All right. My number 3 is an urban legend that if I were to run into this thing, it would scare the hell out of me. And it is the black-eyed children.
Fuck
Oh.
All right, so the urban legend of the black-eyed children is that it's these very pale children, childlike entities with solid black eyes.
You can take it off. We already said it.
Apparently, it's these kids that show up out of nowhere. They can ring your doorbell, and now with Ring, with the cameras, it's very prevalent that they're gonna ask you very polite. They're gonna ask you for help, and then they want you to allow them to enter your house. Don't do that shit. Don't do it. Exactly.
The Michael Jordan. This is how we believe in Michael Jordan. So fuck that kid.
So apparently they're like an omen for bad luck. It's something. Sometimes some legends say that they're bait for something else that's trying to get in. So they use the form of a child, so that you can go, oh my God, this kid needs help. Again, if you're Puerto Rican, we're not opening the door.
No, that's not happening.
We're gonna say, vete pa tu casa, go home.
Yeah.
You're not.
Right. No tengo dulce, vete.
No. Oh, tú tienes celular. You got a phone? Use it.
Yeah, right.
But it's look at that. I mean, I work with kids. I know.
Stop doing that.
I work with kids. I know how scary they can be. If I would have run into that, no, I'm sorry. Not even. I'm sorry. Not happening. So my number 3 is, and now with AI. People are making these videos of these kids in their door. No, fuck that. I can't do it. I can't do it. No. My number 3 are the black-eyed children. Moncho, we're going to our top 2. What's your number 2?
Oh, man. Number 2 was a big one when I was growing up. And actually, I have a couple of experience, and my family have a couple of experience of the UFOs. Or right now, they call it AUP. That stands for unidentified aerial phenomena. So UAPs, right? UAPs. So UFOs back then, and experience in Puerto Rico. First, when I was a child, they have a group of my family have a big, nice UFO seen on top of my grandma's house. And they first identified like a burning airplane going through the air, and it stopped right on top of my house. I was a child. This was 1977. I was 3 years old, and the only one that was in the house was this guy. Everyone forgot about the child, and everyone went out because my mom was the one that saw the plane getting fired, and she thought that it was an airplane that it was going to crash. But it actually stopped for a while. I remember my dad saying that it would lasted like 5 to 10 minutes, just stop on top of the house and then stop a wobbling motion, like going back and forth, and then it was gone. And when they remember that I have the child inside the house, uh, my sister, she was around 6 or maybe 7 years old, and she picked a paper and a pen and she drew what she saw. And drawing came out, and she actually made up like a spaceship. She made these doors and windows on it, and also she made the flames on the sides. That was, I think, was the closest to the or an UFO sighting that we had. I was still a child, but I think my sister is still keeping that drawing. If I have it, I would love to keep it because that's something that it has the date. My mom used to do that always. She put the date, a brief description, and who drew it. It was my sister. So that was a big one for us. Also, a couple of two more stories. One, it was me and my dad. We were on the patio, and we have a nice patio, and we were talking, and we turned off the lights, and my dad saw what he thought it was an ovni, and he called me. I barely see it going through the mountains. It was coming from the sea to the mountains. uh Probably in Puerto Rico we can say that it was coming from the beach and going to Ajuntas or Jayuya, to that way. And my dad tell me, you know what, get me a drink, and if he comes out, he needs to go back, so we're gonna wait. And I did. My dad loved the Cuba Libre, and he knew, and he showed me how to make it, so he knew that I can do it. So he tell me, hey, vete a un Cuba Libre, vete a un palito, and then you come back and sit down with me. And we did. We waited like 1 hour, maybe 2 hours. When we were ready to go, let's say, he's not coming back. Let's go get some sleep. That things came back, and it was what I saw. It was something that it didn't make a sound. And that's probably 19. What I'm talking is 1990 or 1991 at tops. There was no drones back then, and if you ask me for a brief description right now, it looks like a drum. It doesn't make a sound. It was fixed to a transition, not no transition. It was in a straight line, but you cannot hear anything. It was not even that sound. It was straightforward and going to the other side, to the beach. Uh, what I saw, it didn't scare me, but it made me so curious about it because it had lights, but the lights, it was like an aura light all over it, that you can see the shape of the light, but not what was on top of it. It was pretty cool, actually, pretty cool experience. And my dad was static. He was like, I knew it. I knew it. And after that, we stayed a little bit longer, like 1 hour on the patio, and then we went to sleep. But that was a big one for me, and because it was always running in my family for the signings that we had. And the third one, it was a good one because my dad used to have one. It was like a big farm, but down in the mountains of Ponce, Puerto Rico. That area was called La Yuca, and he wanted to build something there, but he didn't. He always went, but only Saturdays, and came back. And one time he was there with my uncle, and they cleaned the area. They make everything nice and clean. And when they were collecting all the tools, they saw one that came on top of them, and then they saw three that came by and make a circle, and they saw five that circle all around them.
Mm.
And my uncle said, I'm gonna say in Spanish because it's so funny. He looked up and say, I don't know, millito, a mí que me lleven. And my dad said, and my dad says, que te lleven a ti. But carajo, a mí no. So he will say like, no, I want to go with them. And my dad, no. So they can take you, not me. But my dad described that they were like it was like a meeting that they have there, and they start circulating. And as they came, they went. So they came, the one in the middle first, then all around, and when they were like static looking up, and they felt like they starting dancing. It was like a dance, but as they came, they went out one by one, and then the one in the middle stayed there like for a while, and then goes up, dance, and went away. And they were like,
So
I don't believe this.
Were they close or were they like high up?
The oh man, the terrain that they were at, it was practically like a big incline, and then they were like three houses. Okay, so where they were, it was practically on top of them. They describe it like it was like a ceiling. So if you're looking, you're probably 15 feet up for the middle one. The rest, I only can imagine that it was what a sight that they have on top of them, and I would be scared as shit. I would have my heart beating so fast, and they were like calm.
No,
My uncle
we would be like this. We'd be like this.
But my uncle, it was for my uncle was the first sight ever. That have another experience, but my uncle's, and that's what this came for. Like, no, que me lleven, olvídate. So yeah, he described it like a ceiling of lights. So maybe not far away, maybe 15, 20 feet on top of them. But that was the three experiences that I have with UFOs, and always in Puerto Rico.
That was Ponce.
Yeah.
Ponce, yeah. Ponce Jardines, yeah, and El del Sur, yeah. All in Ponce.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, we can talk hours about all the stuff that goes on in Puerto Rico.
I want to mention that I never had an experience with UFO, but I do remember that my deceased wife Maritza, she had an experience around my grandmother's house. Like I remember, this is like 2004, 2005, something around that. Before 2000, between 2001 and 2006, kind of that. So anyway, we were at my grandmother's house. That's in Villa del Carmen in Ponce, Puerto Rico. This is in the south of
nearby
Puerto Rico.
The beach.
Villa del Carmen is pretty close to the beach, right? And whenever there's UFO talk in Puerto Rico, there is always close to some big body of water, whether it's some kind of lake. And that's a lot. That happens a lot. Like they most of the UFO talk in Puerto Rico have something about that. Either that or the Yunque, which is the national forest, and is under federal control. Now, Villa del Carmen, as I said, it's in the south, in Ponce, in the south, and Villa del Carmen is really close to the beach, like really, really close, like 5 minutes away in a car. And I was inside the house, and then outside was my wife, may she rest in peace, and my cousin. And now my cousin is a little bit pot smoker, so if he had been the one that told me, I wouldn't believe it. Like, motherfucker, this is a lie, motherfucker. And he smokes pot, so fuck that shit. But my wife told me, and my wife wasn't the person. And you knew my wife. You guys knew my. You guys knew my. She wasn't the kind of person that would invent this or talk
make
about
a
that.
joke on it, right?
She wasn't that kind of person, and she said that they were talking outside of the house because I was inside the house. I remember. I don't know why. I don't know what I was doing. I'm talking to my grandmother or something, and they were outside the house. And then I remember when I came outside, and they were all like pale, like both of them were pale. And I talked to them, and it was like everything was all right. And she was like, "We just seen something." And then describe it as I didn't see this. This is something that they both told me. They describe it as a ball of fire. They saw on the sky, and it came so close to them, like they saw it, like maybe that if you were in the roof of the house, and this is a 1-story roof, like this is not that if you were on the roof, you might have touched it. It's that close, and then it just went away. Like that happens like in seconds, like I don't know, maybe less than 5 seconds. So again, I didn't see it. I can say that that's not something I saw, but because it was my wife and she wasn't the kind of person that would invent things that she wouldn't, tell it. She wasn't that kind of person. Like, I believe that that's what they saw. Why was it? I don't know. Maybe it was some kind of experimental shit. I don't know. The army does a lot of shit here in Puerto Rico we don't know about. The government does a lot of shit everywhere. Not only here in Puerto Rico, we don't know the shit. Maybe someone just fucking around. I don't know. But they did say that, and I believe them. I believe my wife. I don't believe my cousin. He's a liar.
And don't forget about Lajas too. Lajas is a big town, a nice town for signings as well.
Yeah, I mean Lajas, Guanica, Sabana Grande, all that where the Arecibo, where the telescope used to be, the satellite, all of that.
I guess today is really it's kind of ironic because it's kind of harder and easier to maybe something like that because right now it's harder because there's so much luminescent contamination, like light contamination. It's really hard to see on the but it's harder to believe because all the intelligent artificial intelligence and then the whole now the drones, now there's drones, so it could be anything now can be a drone. It could be a drone, like I don't know.
Yeah, that's the problem, man. It could be anything, man. But at least Boncho's number 2 are UFOs or UAPs, ovnis, however you want to call it. I also think, I know there's more stuff out there. I know it. We just have to. I think they're saying, you know what? They're not ready. We almost had them.
But look at them. Look at them.
If I may say my opinion, I don't think we're the only life in the universe. Yeah. I think it's mathematically impossible that we're the only planet with life. I think there must be, pretty sure, bacterial, microbiological life. It might be some advanced kind of life like ours. I just don't think they're here. I don't think we have been visited because space travels takes so much resource. It's so fucking hard to do that if civilization goes to that level, you don't want them visiting. Like that's one of the last things Stephen Hawking said. If we ever get visited, it's not gonna end up well for us. Because our story with advanced societies coming to a less advanced is always bad. That story is always end bad. So it wouldn't end up.
Yeah, right. Look at Christopher Columbus. Look what happened there. Yeah. And he just had a boat and some spears and nothing too advanced. And look what he did. So yeah, I mean, there are a bunch of theories. If they're that advanced that they're traveling in space, maybe they found other ways. I don't know, a wormhole or curvature in the space-time continuum where they don't have to travel so many years. But yeah, if they're here and they want to show themselves, it's hopefully they're cool. They're benevolent. They're not here to take our resources and all that. So hopefully it's a good time. But I think that's real. I think there's something going on. But you know what? Maybe it's us from the future. That's another theory I read somewhere that what we're seeing now or is us in the future trying to fix the mistakes that has been. There's a
lot of mistakes, so they better get the
yeah. It's like, hey, if you're gonna fix this now,
that would be a good time.
Yeah, We're gonna do it. Just saying. All right. So, UFOs. George, what's your number two?
Okay, my number two is the story that I heard a lot when I was a kid. I always creeped the shit out of me. And I put this on number two because this is one of those stories that sounds like it could happen. I rationally know it won't happen ever. But there's like that, when I was growing up, like, oh shit, it could happen. It sounds like something that could happen. But then I found out that there's that same story pretty much everywhere. So anyway, the story is about the ghost lady, the lady hitchhiker lady. Yes, and the story
Oh,
comes. Yeah, the story says that this guy is driving around and he sees this lady and she's dressed like she's going to a party or to a prom or something. So he stops and she says that she just come from a prom. She has some problems and she misses her prom and she just want to go home. And so she gets in the car, but she's like freezing. And so the guy is driving. Okay, you can put on my jacket. That's okay. And he gets her to her house. And then at the other day, like he realized, like she was a pretty girl, right? It's a handsome, beautiful woman. So she goes to the house and asks for her, and they say, "Oh, she's my daughter. She died like 20 years ago. She was on her way to prom, but she had an accident and she never came. She died." And he wouldn't believe that, like, you're bullshitting me, she doesn't want to see me or something, or you don't want me to see her. So they tell her to go to the cemetery, and they tell her where is her tombstone. And when he gets there, his jacket is on the tomb, on the girl's tomb. So that's an old urban legend, and oh man, is that like I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about that. It's always, even if I'm a skeptic, like I don't believe in any of those things, but still, it's such a creepy tale that I always talk about. I always remember that.
Yeah, every culture I think has that same that
some
same
version
story.
of that.
Some version of there's somebody driving by and there's a girl on the side of the road, and they pick her up and then she disappears and all that. So that one's scary, especially if you're driving at night by yourself.
Fuck that shit. And in
Puerto Rico. Yeah, Puerto Rico.
I gotta tell you, man, like it's fucking scary driving in Puerto Rico, especially rural
at night.
Area.
Yeah,
right.
That shit, man. Because there's not a fucking light in you can go to the places. So fucking it's true. So there's a lot of variations to that story. But the first time I heard it, I was a kid. Like I don't know, I was maybe 12, 14 years old. So you believe it was. You kind of believe it that happened. Then you grow up and you find out that there's like every place has some kind of variation of that story. But still, creepy as hell.
I used to work.
Moncho, you ever hitchhike a pretty girl in the middle of the night in Puerto Rico?
No, that's what I'm about to say. I used to work nearby the mountains of Puerto Rico at a town called Maricao. And whenever I was going back to Ponce, to my town, and I see, because you won't believe people walking at that time around 11:30 at night on the road. Whenever someone appear like that, I always look at their feet. Okay, let me see. Because if I don't see feet or I see floating, I don't know what I'm gonna. But yeah, every time I have a couple of signs of people walking up the hill or walking nearby the road, I always look at I was driving, but I was looking. Oh yeah, let me see. Okay, it got fit. So
there's something in the comments that I never heard about. I don't know if you guys ever heard that, like La Dama del Rojo, like Lady in Red in the Coto. El Coto is a small borough in Puerto Rico. It's not small, but
Yeah, it's in between Juanadilla and Ponce. It's that road.
Right.
Listen, there's a cemetery there. That's the road goes right between. I
remember that.
It's on both sides. You do not want to drive through there at night.
Fuck that shit, man.
You remember that, right? It's on the
I remember that. Yes, sir.
That I needed to go to a theater practice, and by our time, and I decided to hitchhike. Like I would hitchhike to Intel Metro. And I remember I was walking for that road to the cemetery, and there was some dogs barking, like, dogs. They were barking their fucking heart out. And then as soon as I put one step in front of the cemetery, motherfuckers stop. I remember, don't stop, motherfuckers. That was when I need you. Like now, just...
No, the dog was like, hey, look, there's another one. Let's see what happens.
Check him out. Check him out.
Ooh, that cemetery. Oh my god, that was
Yeah.
freaky.
I remember.
That was freaky. All right, so the La Muerta, the ghost lady of the road, the ghost hitchhiker. Let's put it that way. All right, my second one. It is from Puerto Rico, and it's because it is I've never seen it. I've never met anyone who has seen it, but when you hear the story, it's creepy and it's kind of it's if you were to see it, you'd get scared. And it's called The Legend of El Hacho in Puerto Rico. All right, so The Legend of El Hacho is a Puerto Rican ghost story about a man who, in a desperate attempt to light his way home, used a wooden crucifix as a torch. On Good Friday, he was then cursed to wander as a glowing, mysterious light, searching endlessly for the ashes of his sacred crucifix that he burned. The legend serves as a cautionary tale to get children to come home before dark, but some modern interpretations portray him as a vengeful killer. So depending on how you've heard it, just knowing that a guy I don't know why, it's just spooky because he lights a wooden crucifix on fire to light his way home, and as punishment he has to find the ashes of that cross to be able to break the curse. That is messed up. That is a messed up curse. I've never seen it, but some people have said, and supposedly the story originated in Ponce, in the mountain of Ponce. It says here, I'm looking at the information. The story originated with a farmer who lived near Orocovis, though some versions place the phenomenon in the mountains of Ponce. And I didn't know that. I heard of the legend, but I didn't know that's where it came from. I've never seen any lights or anything. There's always, and the thing is, in Puerto Rico, there's always lights in the dark because there's never any freaking light. People have to light their way somehow, you know. So it's weird, and you always see these things, and you know they would say these things as to get you home. Oh, when it gets dark, El Hacho's gonna get you if you don't come home. So that's how they would get you home. But I've never heard or seen anybody that said, "Oh yeah, I saw it," you know, La Luz del Hacho. But when you look at the story, that's creepy. That is a creepy story. And I don't know why it's not as famous as El Chupacabra or La Muerta. Or there was another from Puerto Rico. Which one was it? Oh, I can't remember. But my number 2 is The Legend of El Hacho. Now, they've made movies about him being a serial killer and all that now. I get it. Okay, that's all fine. But the original story is scary on its own. It's just messed up. Having him burn a cross on Good Friday. Why would you do that?
Right.
Why would you do that shit? That just makes no sense. All right, so we're going to go to our number ones. Moncho, what is your number 1?
My number 1 urban legend is practically from Puerto Rico, actually. And I call it an urban legend because when I grew up, it was always on the en los periódicos. It was always on the media. This guy original name was Francisco Antonio García López, mejor conocido como Toño Bicicleta.
Oh, shit.
All right, now you're going to have to go into detail because I'm pretty sure a lot of our audience have never heard of Toño Bicicleta. What was he about?
Well, Toño Bicicleta was a pretty renowned criminal that gained notoriety by, he was first at 1968. He killed his then wife with a machete. He got at one point that it was a discussion, and he killed his wife at that moment with a machete. Also, and I remember that they gave him like a big amount of years in jail. So he was guilty, and I think he gave him like 180 years in prison. So that's a life sentence. But he managed to escape 2 years after that sentence from jail. And from that point on, he became like a fugitive. And it was part of Puerto Rican folklore because he roamed around all Puerto Rico, all the mountains in Puerto Rico, and it was sightseeing of Toño Bicicleta. And uh, I don't know if you guys remember. I sure that you guys remember El Vocero.
Yeah.
So the newspaper, he managed to be always in El Vocero. It was a sightseeing, or it was like he tried to kidnap someone, or it was at one point he was in the house of Marical's mayor, that he steals some flashlights and some tools. Also, I think he took out money and jewelry from him, and it was. Everybody says that he always kept around those mountains. Actually, the legend says that he have some. They calls the Toño Bicicleta's wife, because he was leaving and people start protecting him
Yeah.
from the police. So it was so always kept from it until I think he died in Lares in 1995, and it was at the age of 52, and it was a gunshot wound that killed him finally. And it was a parade for the police, like, we finally got him, because hey, you got him after how many years, you know? And it was and it still is a legend from Puerto Rico at this time.
He became a folk hero, but then again, the police also, I think, they blamed a lot of crimes on him also.
Yeah.
After,
Yes.
so it's I'm not saying he was a saint, because he had that his wife, that he had her captive. So it's
Right.
a very interesting story. And I believe the gun, I think they shot him in the balls, right? Is that how they killed him? It was a
Gotcha wound.
right to the
A vicious. Yeah, a vicious.
yeah. I mean, they did. It was bad, but he was a folk hero he was a criminal that people protected because of all the corruption on the police in Puerto Rico. That was a
Right.
big thing.
Right.
You know, there's a question in the commentaries about if Puerto Rico has ever had serial killers. And thank you for that question, Ciro. The answer is yes. And there's one specifically that a lot of people remember, that's the one that everybody always refers to. He was called the angel of the single people. El ángel de los solteros. How do you say that in English? Like angel of
The bachelor's angel, I think it is.
bachelors, right? Angel of the bachelor's angels, whatever. And he was known because he would kill homosexual men.
In Puerto Rico.
Yeah, El Ángel de los Solteros. If you look that out, and he was a serial killer. I think he's alive. I think he's alive in prison right now. He hasn't. I don't know. I believe he's still alive in prison, because they.
But mira, I'm looking it up on AI, and it says no. There hasn't been any. No, it says no, that there hasn't been a serial killer in Puerto Rico.
No, there is. Called El Ángel de los Solteros. Fuck AI.
Okay.
Don't trust AI.
Okay.
Go to Google like normal people and put El Ángel de los Solteros.
Let me see.
He was I think it was something. In fact, that guy, he killed a famous person, a famous man in La Farándula. He was a famous artist. He was kind of a little bit like Charlie Too Much. Like, he would do gossip and all that shit. I remember his name. He was a director. I'm not sure. I know he killed someone that was known in Puerto Rico for being, I don't know, a director or something like that, some kind of famous figure in Puerto Rico. He was a closeted homosexual, I think. So anyway, El Ángel de los Solteros, look at him and you're gonna find about him. That was the one the one guy that they considered to be a serial killer in Puerto Rico. However, recently we had this guy that I don't remember his name. That I'm not sure this is something that happened this year or last year. This is a guy that was in prison for killing women, and he had killed like 2 or 3 women, and he was in prison, but they didn't consider him a serial killer. Like, it was like this motherfucker that was killing his partners, because they both the woman he killed or the woman he killed It was kind of his partner. That motherfucker convinced a lot of people that he was disabled. And I don't know. It was a combination of the usual mediocrity that happens in Puerto Rico, and the guy cheating, just hoaxing everybody. He got free by compassion, and then like 2 weeks later, he killed another woman. So I think he killed like 3 women in Puerto Rico. I think his name was Hermes. A motherfucker killed 3 women in Puerto Rico. So that's the closest thing to another modern serial killer that we can call in Puerto Rico. But yeah,
he says,
El Ángel de los Solteros.
Yeah, he says it was called Angel Colón Maldonado, and Hector put it back there in the comments also. But in the media that I found, it says that it was a young man that it was terrorizing the people back in the 80s, and he confessed that he killed at least 7 homosexuals men back in Puerto Rico. So yeah, he was a serial killer. Oh shit! I didn't know about that.
Wow, so George just defeated AI. Shit.
Yeah, fuck it.
Live.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Yes, there has been serial killers. All right. So, all right, George, what's your number one?
Man, my number one. This really, even if I'm skeptic, this still scared the shit out of me. It's called, this urban legend is called, "Have you seen this man? Have you dreamed of this man?" And apparently, it's this guy that a lot of people has dreamed. And it started. Take that shit out. I don't want to see it. Fuck that shit.
Hold on. Wait a
No,
minute.
motherfucker.
¡Eh! Ahí está para que se quede. ¡Pum! You're gonna see it at night.
No,
you
pero
motherfucker.
saca la mano.
No.
Take your hand out.
No, motherfucker. Cabrón. This is scary shit.
That's not even worse than this guy.
I don't know why. It's something that this is uncanny valley. Something happening there. So anyway, this is what happened is that apparently this woman dreamed with that guy, and she was talking with her nephew, I think it was, and she was talking with his nephew, and he started describing a guy he was dreaming of, and she realized that she was dreaming of the same guy. So she put an ad somewhere, like in he made that drawing, and she put the ad somewhere. I don't know if it was a newspaper on the internet already, and a lot of people started answering the ad, like, "Yeah, I dream of that guy. I dream of that guy." So it's this urban legend that apparently it's gone global or something like that. So yeah, that's the scary one for me.
Have you seen this man?
Yeah.
Now I've seen him.
Right.
You know, there's an honorable mention. You know, a new urban legend that showed up. It's called the AI hag. Have you ever heard of the AI hag?
No.
Apparently, on certain AI illustrations that people ask, apparently there's this old woman that it's the same old woman that keeps coming up over and over again.
Oh, okay.
So they're saying that's, it's there's something behind that. So, but I tried to look it up and nothing came up as far as like images. But apparently there is a common woman, an old woman that shows up in some illustrations, and they're calling her the AI hag because it's never like a friendly face.
Damn.
So that's kind of like that one. That one's weird. All right, so my number one urban legend is one I'm sure everybody has heard of. It's kind of like the one you said before, and every Latin America country has it. La Llorona.
Yeah.
La Llorona.
Llorona's
Yes.
number one. The legend of La Llorona is a Mexican folktale about a ghost of a woman, often named Maria, who weeps and wails as she searches for her children, who she drowned in a moment of rage. She is condemned to an eternal afterlife of wandering and looking for them, often near rivers, where she is said to abduct other children. The legend serves as a cautionary tale, as roots in pre-Hispanic mythology, with connections as figures as Aztec goddesses, and etc. La Llorona, honestly, because if you're walking somewhere at night and if you hear like a dog howl and it sounds like a woman crying, you don't think it's a dog. You think La Llorona. It doesn't matter where you are. And those are sounds that are scare the shit out of you. Doesn't matter where you are. I don't know if Puerto Rico has we don't have a Llorona, do we?
No.
No, but funny thing, this happens some years ago. I don't remember how long ago, but apparently someone did a hoax in Puerto Rico. Like they took a video, and you could see like a woman and you could see a shape, and you could hear a wail, like a woman's wail, and it was a hoax. It was a but Puerto Rico being Puerto Rico, people just flock to that place, like because it's apparently it's a well-known road in Puerto Rico, or at least in that area. It's like saying La Muda de Cagua, which everybody has heard of La Muda de Cagua, even if you haven't been there, La Piquiña, something like that. And so there was a hoax of that. So, but no, I never seen anything like that.
No, but it's.
But I remember that drowned the media like for a whole week, you know, and it was obviously a hoax. But the funny thing it was watching all the people at the 2 days after that, like just I don't know, like maybe 100 people, something like that, maybe 50 people. Just waiting for see something of La Llorona. Like motherfuckers, so obviously a video, a fake.
Yeah. In Puerto Rico, that they always try to say, "Oh, I caught this on video," and then like, and even before, like 2 days later, like, "Hey, this is from a movie, or this is Photoshop." I remember that happened once and this came out on all the news, all the farandula shows back home. You guys remember La Gárgola, the gargoyle? So you remember that whole thing? It was like a week in the newspapers, and I'm like, I've seen that before, and then it came out that it was a Photoshop from a movie, something like that. It was weird, but I'm like, wow, man, they fall for everything. You just can't go with it just because it's a slow news week, or you want to distract the people from what's going on with the government and all that. But yeah, I mean, it's funny though. It's weird. So yeah, my number one is La Llorona. La Llorona. That's it, because everybody knows La Llorona. So, all right, George. Moncho, thank you for coming. George, where can we find you in las redes online?
Mira, El George Rivera Rubio everywhere, like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Also, you can do a podcast. I have a podcast that you can watch on YouTube or listen in your any audio app, Buscando Problemas Podcast with El George. And I have a lot of interviews right there, so you can go ahead and Legalmente Nerd Podcast, which is a podcast we talk about popular culture, movies, news, video games, TV series, all that shit.
All right, Moncho, where can we find you?
You can find me in Instagram as Las Quijote, Instagram and Facebook as Musical Calavera.
All right, you can find me on all the social media ads, Kevin Dagger PR. So remember, next week we're going to come back with another top 5, and we're going to go with top 5 killer toys. Yes, that's going to be next week. All right. So for the guys, for myself, thank you for watching. See you next time. Take care. Peace out.